High Court today asked the Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi to defer action till July 24th on the disqualification notices issued to Pilot and 18 other rebel MLAs. The court has also reserved its order on the petitions challenging these notices until then. However, the Rajasthan government crisis does not seem like it's nearing an end anytime soon. We are live in Politically Correct with our political editor D.K. Singh. If you have any questions on the drama that has unfolded in Rajasthan over the last 2 weeks, please do send them to us. To begin with, the question on everyone's mind: will the Congress government in Rajasthan survive or will they fall?
Well, look, since we discussed this in our last episode, nothing much has changed drastically. But yeah, what is clear now is that divide, that rebellion is final.
Yeah.
Now, Sachin Pilot has reached this point of no return, and there is no coming back. If he is not speaking against the Congress, that's because of the case in the High Court. Because they have taken their stand, all the rebels, that we have not done anything against the party. So how can you apply this anti-defection law against us? And that's why they're not speaking out. Otherwise, lines are very sharply drawn. Once you hear the court on Friday, you will see all these voices coming out. And you have seen how Ashok Gehlot is trying to actually shut the door on him, calling him Nikamma, Nakara, all that we have heard. So there is no coming back for Sachin Pilot. As for the question whether Ashok Gehlot government will fall or survive, look at the number. See, as of now, Gehlot seems to be having a majority, in the sense he may have the support of about 100 to 103 MLAs. Now let me break it down. Congress had 107 MLAs. Sachin Pilot and 18 other MLAs leave. So exclude 19, and Congress figure is down to 88, which includes the speaker also. Then you have, out of 13 independents, 10 are supposed to be loyal to Gehlot, because they were Gehlot loyalists who were denied ticket, and so they contested independence with Gehlot's tacit support.
Right.
They have won, they will support, that's the expectation. So that takes the tally to 98.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 MLAs of the CPM. Now earlier there was this speculation that one of them might be kind of working some kind of arrangement with working out some arrangement with the rebel camp, but he has clarified it later. There is no such thing. So CPM 2 MLAs, I mean, you don't expect them to go to the other side. So Ashok Gehlot can bank on them. That brings the tally to 100. Then you have 2 MLAs from Bharatiya Tribal Party of Chotubhai Basawa. Chotubhai Basawa is from Gujarat. Now he was earlier in JDU. He quit that party after JDU allied with the BJP in Bihar. And he had in fact voted for Ahmad Patel in that famous 2017 Rajya Sabha bypoll.
Yeah.
So you could count on him to support the Congress, but right after this crisis had broken out, Basawa had issued a whip to his 2 MLAs. He won't vote for either side. Now, that could have been a bargaining chip, something must have happened, but because after that, Ashok Gehlot claims to have got the support from, they have got a letter from them. So that takes the tally to 102. Then you have 1 MLA from RLD, Ajit Singh's party, but he is a Gehlot loyalist, he is a minister also. So you would expect him to back the Congress. So on paper, Gehlot looks comfortable with the support of 103 MLAs in a house of 200.
Yeah.
But then there are many ifs. In the sense, BJP has proven its mettle in converting the minority into a majority. Yeah. They've done it so many times. And the BJP is backing Sachin Pilot now. So breaking some independence from there, and right now all these 88, all the MLAs of the Congress, they are all holed up in a hotel in Jaipur. Once they come out, they're open to all kinds of bargains. We know how our politicians work.
Yeah.
So from 103 coming down to 99 or 98 is not a difficult task.
Yeah.
4 or 5 MLAs can actually switch sides at the last moment. That can happen from the other side also. Again, like Sachin, all these rebels who are with Sachin Pilot, they are incommunicado. Even we are not able to speak to them. We speak to Sachin, but all other MLAs are silent. So when they come out, probably Gehlot may also try to poach. So all these options are there. But as it is, you cannot actually call Gehlot government very secure.
Okay.
He must be walking on a thin ice because with 103 MLAs in a house of 200 MLAs, with only 88 from the Congress and rest, you have cobbled up the numbers,
Yeah.
which can crumble anytime.
Yeah. So it's very precarious at this
It's
moment.
very precarious. But that's where it comes to the fall of the government or
Yeah.
the possibility of a fall or survival.
Right.
When the related question would be, would the BJP be able to form the government?
Yeah.
So when you go there, now again the numbers are not very comfortable. If you look at the numbers stacked up in favor of the BJP or Sachin Pilot, you have 72 BJP MLAs, then you have 3 MLAs from Hanuman Manual Party,
Yeah.
that makes it 75. With Sachin's support, 19 MLAs in Sachin's camp, that 75 plus 19 becomes 94. And then there are 3 independents against whom the State Anti-Corruption Bureau has filed an FIR, has booked them actually. So those MLAs are not going to be with Gehlot because they are the victims. That takes the tally to 97.
Yeah.
So if the opposition combined has 97 MLAs as of now, again assured, again you have these independents, these 10 independents, Basawa, I mean these are the possible catches,
Okay.
which both sides will work on.
So they can be the game changers.
Yeah, so, but then as I said, the other camp can bring the government down,
Yeah.
but whether they will be able to form the government, that there is a catch, and that's why this High Court judgment is very important. Look, even if they delay their disqualification, suppose Ashok Gehlot government convenes the assembly session, suppose Ashok Gehlot seeks a trust vote in the House, or as the buzz that is going on now is the assembly session can be convened to discuss corona crisis. So on any pretext, you issue a whip,
Yeah.
force them to be present in the House, and then the game is open. If there is a trust vote, if these 19 MLAs vote against the Congress, even if they abstain, they can be disqualified. You have seen what had happened in Karnataka last year.
Yeah.
Now, there were 17 JDS Congress MLAs were disqualified, including 3 who were disqualified after the fall of the government. After the government had lost the trust vote, Speaker had disqualified them because they had voted against the government.
Yeah.
So even if these 19 MLAs vote against the government or abstain, they can be disqualified even after the fall of the government. They can approach the court later,
Yeah.
but then they may have to go for re-election.
Right.
Will they be comfortable? Will they be confident enough to face the electorate again? Especially when you will have then Ashok Gehlot contesting, campaigning against you. And even in the BJP camp, things are not very smooth. And Vasundhara Raje, who is a mass leader, she has not actually openly supported this rebellion by Sachin Pilot.
Yeah.
And she is very unhappy about this. So if she is not coming to campaign for you, Ashok Gehlot is campaigning for you, can you trust Sachin Pilot to ensure a re-election?
Yeah.
So all these things must be weighing on the minds of all these rebels. So let's see how things turn out. But as it is, it's a very precarious situation.
Okay. Anvaya on Twitter is asking you if Gehlot has a clip of Pilot allegedly offering money to the other MLAs to join hands with him. Then, as the Gehlot government claims, then why are Priyanka Gandhi and others entertaining Pilot? Why do they continue to reach out to him?
No, I don't think they have a clip of Pilot.
Okay.
They're talking about an audio clip involving a Congress MLA,
Yes.
no, not Pilot.
Okay.
So let's be clear on that. Coming to the second part of the question, why is the High Command engaging with Pilot? I'm still engaging with Pilot. Now I think not really. I mean, they have given up hope. Because you don't see a chief minister basically, slamming you day in and day out, calling you Nikamma, Nakara, and High Command talking with the rebel leader. It did not happen.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of hypocrisy being maintained by both sides. Congress saying we are still in talks, we still want him to come back, and Pilot saying I'm still in the Congress.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's just a technicality now. Sachin Pilot, it's not going to be there in the Congress for long.
Yeah. Vidya Bhushan is asking you, what is your assessment of Sachin Pilot's political depth in Rajasthan beyond the Gujjar belt? If he didn't have to join BJP, what could be his plans with less than 20 MLAs?
First, about his political depth, yes, he did have some appeal among youngsters. So he was shaping up as a leader.
Yeah.
Of course, he has inherited the political legacy of his father. I mean, he is emerging as a Gujar leader. But don't forget, even in the Gujar belt, in the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP swept when Sachin was on this side. But he definitely has a lot of potential. He is a very hard worker. But right now, if you compare him with Gehlot, Gehlot is far ahead of him in terms of his mass appeal.
Okay.
Sachin is emerging as leader. He's shaping up. But he is still not there. That's about his political depth. As for his options, well, I've spoken to him, and very frankly, I'm not very clear about his plans, because if you talk about floating a party, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And actually, I would ask our viewers to read our colleague Ruhi Tiwari's copy on this, why all these leaders, young leaders who leave the party, have not been floating their own regional outfit. So please do read that piece. But point is, it's not very easy. You need a lot of money for that. You need a lot of infrastructure to build. If you do not have patience to wait for even 3 years to become the CM or to become a CM candidate, would you wait for another 10 years to basically build your party from the scratch and then come in contention? I really have my doubts.
Okay. Some questions on the technicalities here. Nishit Gupta is asking us, what happens if there is a floor test and Pilot's camp votes against the government? Will the government fall even if Pilot's camp votes against the whip? Like, what will happen finally?
I've just spoken of the numbers. So if Ashok Gehlot government continues to have 103 MLAs with him, he will sail through. If Pilot camp votes against the government, they'll be disqualified. So the game that is going on now is to actually give more solidity to basically to give a more firm footing to Gehlot government in terms of numbers. Look, why they have gone to the court? Because the stand of the Congress is, you did not attend our legislature party meetings. That they have already had what, three meetings so far. So in the first 2 meetings they had asked all these MLAs to come. They had not. So they have gone to the Speaker of the Assembly asking for disqualification. These MLAs were issued notices by the Speaker. They have not responded. So the idea was, you disqualify them before the floor test. So if you disqualify those 19 MLAs, the strength of the Assembly comes down to 181. Then your majority figure becomes 91. So it becomes much easier for Gehlot to prove his majority. Right now, it's a bit dicey.
Yeah. Sahil is asking you, is Amit Shah looking at Sachin Pilot as someone who could stabilize Vasundhara Raje's power just like Scindia for Shivraj? Counter it.
Could stabilize? I don't know, because in Rajasthan also BJP has been working on propping up alternative leadership. Now, Vasundhara Raje is not very popular with the high command, with the BJP high command, everybody knows. And Amit Shah, probably the BJP high command, I would say, they have been looking at possible successors. So then you had this Gajen Singh Shekhawat, who is the union minister here. BJP was trying to make him the BJP state, Rajasthan BJP chief, Rajasthan unit chief. Vasundhara Raje opposed and finally scuttled the plan. He was brought here as central minister. He is basically being groomed as Vasundhara's successor, but he does not have Vasundhara Raje's charisma. I mean, she is a mass leader. In 2002, she was appointed Rajasthan BJP chief. And then, don't forget, then you had the stalwarts like Bharatiya Singh Shekhawat. He was a towering personality. Vasundhara Raje was expected to play second fiddle. I mean, everybody expected her to dance to his tune. Didn't happen. She went on a Parivartan Yatra and she drew huge crowds. And for the first time in 2003, BJP could get a clear majority. She got 120 out of 200 in the 200-member house. Even Shekhawat could never get a clear majority for the BJP. Then in 2013, she got 163 seats for the party. So she is an undisputed mass leader. You may be propping up some other leaders, but they're not even a patch on her when it comes to the mass appeal.
Okay. Parimal is asking us, with Ashok Gehlot's Nikamma remarks, is it the end of Sachin Pilot in Congress? And more importantly, has Gehlot outsmarted Amit Shah by saving his government?
First question we have answered, like
Yes,
this Nikamma
yes.
remark actually brings the curtains down.
Yeah.
So now I don't really see Sachin coming back to the party. I mean, staying with the party. As for what is the second one?
Has Gehlot outsmarted Amit Shah by saving his government?
So far, yes, but we don't know. We don't know yet.
Yes.
It's a very fluid situation. We'll come to know who has outsmarted whom, but not now. Possibly on Friday or later. On Friday, a High Court will give its ruling on this disqualification notice, and then the trust vote or no confidence motion, whichever way it goes. If Gehlot survives, we'll know who has outsmarted whom. Right now, it's very difficult to say.
Ajay Patil asking you, can Maharashtra be the next Rajasthan? Can a government be toppled?
Well,
in
I wonder if
Maharashtra?
you have heard Mamata Banerjee today. She has said that, well, BJP is trying to topple my government. People are talking about toppling the government in Jharkhand. Maharashtra could be next. Why not? And BJP is consistently on the job. And why not? I mean, it's the opposition party in these states. BJP will be trying.
Yes.
And Maharashtra, of course, because we have discussed it in the previous episodes. Now you have three parties working at cross purposes. BJP does have a kind of, can see some opportunity there for a split.
Okay. What went wrong for Sachin Pilot? Was it the timing of his move, or did he simply miscalculate his strength?
Not sure yet, because when I was speaking to him last time, a few days back, he was very confident that not that, suddenly I have just walked out. So he was ready, he was preparing for it. Ashok Gehlot has said that he was preparing for 6 months. I'm not sure whether Sachin was doing for 6 months. Of course, he was being humiliated in the government, I would say,
For a while now.
for quite a few months.
Yeah.
But whether Sachin had any concrete plans ready to bring the government down or to form an alternative government, and the plan which has got scuttled now, it's very difficult to say. As it is, he has the support of just 18 MLAs. And with that strength, it does not look like that it was a very well-planned move.
Okay. So Sachin Pilot was seen as someone who's very close to Rahul Gandhi, as was Jyotiraditya Scindia. So we have a question. Do you see this as Rahul Gandhi's failure, that his close young friends have backstabbed him and the party? Is this Rahul Gandhi's failure?
No, why they have backstabbed him? Well, they have their own ambitions. But Rahul Gandhi's failure comes where Rahul Gandhi or the Congress leadership failed to address their concerns. If Jyotiraditya Scindia was being constantly undermined in Madhya Pradesh, what he complained about, why did the High Command not intervene then? Why did the High Command not talk to the leadership there, to the Chief Minister there, and make the two sit and sort it out? Rahul Gandhi could have done the same in Rajasthan also. Now, everybody knows for the last at least 2-3 months, Sachin Pilot had been reaching different leaders in the Congress here at the center, telling them how he was being undermined, how he was not being allowed to function. Nobody bothered. Rahul Gandhi could have sat with both of them, Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, and sorted out the differences. So you cannot be a mute spectator here when you are in a leadership position. You have to intervene, and there lies Rahul Gandhi's failure.
Okay. And finally, someone's asking us, is there a chance of a split within the Congress party, out of which a new faction will emerge against the BJP with a strong ideology and without the Gandhis at the helm?
At the central leadership?
Yes, a separate party will come out of the Congress. It will emerge.
It has been happening. It has been happening for the last 50 years, actually.
Yeah.
Even if you remember, Indira Gandhi had walked out of the original
Yes.
party, and that's how Congress I came.
Yes.
And in every state, you have seen Sharad Pawar, Mamata Banerjee, like every state, you have Congress splitting. So it has been a continuous process, and it will go on.
Do we see that happening anytime soon, though, out of all of this that we've been witnessing in the
Well,
last
people have been leaving. They have not been forming the government, but
Yeah.
Scindia leaving or Sachin Pilot wanting to leave, whether they form a separate party or not, but you have to treat it as splits, because these are very important leaders who have the potential to basically become the leaders and
At the center.
top leaders at the center later. And they had a national profile. If these guys are leaving you, well, it's a big cause of worry for the Congress.
All right, we've been tracking this very closely at The Print. Do read our reports, and if you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.